You lock your doors. You cover your webcam. You turn off location tracking. But hey, you forgot to look up. Surveillance isn't just something you opt into anymore. It's floating above your head. Watching, recording, learning. The skies, they're not empty. They're occupied. So the next time you see something in the air, don't ask what it is. Ask who owns it. What's it doing up there? And what happens when no one's watching the watchers? In a surveillance nation, airspace is access. And sometimes your front yard is the target. Welcome to this week's brief from Midweek Sitrep. Quick intel drops to keep you sharp, situationally aware, and one step ahead. I'm Jerry Fowler, and I'm your host. This is the second brief in our series on surveillance and space warfare. So if you haven't listened to episode 13 yet, you should give it a listen. Today, we're zooming in on the skies directly above your neighborhood. This is the new frontier. Low-cost surveillance, high-altitude platforms, and no clear rules of the road. Okay, so a little bit of background if you haven't listened to episode 13 yet. Let's go back to February 2023. A Chinese surveillance balloon drifts across U.S. airspace. It's not stealthy. It's not fast. It's not even new. But it was undeniable. The balloon floated for days, from Montana missile fields to the Carolina coast. It gathered signals, mapped out radar patterns, and most of all, it tested our response. Yeah, we shot it down. But we missed the point. That balloon wasn't a one-off. It was a signal flare, a message. We can reach you, and you won't be able to stop us in time. Quick break. You know what you can do in time? You can sign up for the Midweek Sitrep Substack. I'm giving away a free Everything is National Security dad hat to one subscriber randomly selected between now and July 31st. So really, you have today. No announcements, no shoutouts. I'll contact the winner privately. Just head to midweeksitrep.substack.com and sign up for the Insider Brief. It's your direct line to deeper insights, sources, and the stories behind the headlines. No spam, no fluff, just situational awareness delivered. Okay, back to the show. Since the balloon incident, surveillance platforms have multiplied. And not with just balloons, not with just drones, but all kinds of high-altitude, long-endurance systems, hail platforms, airships, pseudo-satellites, commercial drones, and even repurposed weather balloons. They loiter for days. They capture imagery. They collect signals. And they blend in. Some are registered to civilian companies. Some fly under FAA radar. Some, they're tracked and quietly ignored. And it's just not foreign actors. It's also private firms, research groups, and contractors operating in legal gray zones with military-grade tech. If you're wondering who's flying over your house, you're not alone. Hey, you. You want to support the show and look good while doing it? Of course you do. Head on over to everythingisnationalsecurity.com and get your official Midweek Sitrep merch. Hats, shirts, and gear for the everyday listener who knows everything is national security. Whether you're commuting, rucking, or breaking down geopolitics over brunch, rep the mission. That's everythingisnationalsecurity.com, where strategy meets style. I'll see you there. Here's where it gets tricky. Many of these platforms are technically civilian, but their sensors, optics, and telemetry, they're often built with military-grade capabilities or sourced from defense-adjacent industries. Some are funded through federal research grants. Others are built by startups hoping to land defense contracts. And a few are they're hard to trace. We've entered a surveillance gray zone, where a private weather balloon can carry SIGINT payload. A drone company might serve both local farmers and international clients. And one unmarked blimp could quietly monitor an entire town's movement patterns for weeks. Most people never notice. And if they do, they're told to not worry. But if a platform is watching and no one claims it, who owns the footage? Where does the data go? And how do you even begin to stop it? You don't need to live near a military base to be worried about surveillance. You just need to live under open sky. Surveillance used to be about wiretaps and phone records. Now it's aerial, quiet, persistent. Sometimes it's foreign. Sometimes it's commercial. And sometimes no one's quite sure. But what's changed is this. You don't have to break a law to be watched. You just have to be in the frame. The real concern isn't that platforms are flying. It's that we don't always know who owns them, what data they're collecting, or what happens next. So no, you're not being paranoid when you look up. You're just paying attention. And in an era where airspace is opportunity, oversight matters. Transparency matters. And yeah, asking the right questions, that still matters. Coming up, next week on Midweek Sitrep, we wrap up our surveillance and space warfare arc with episode 14, How Data Becomes a Weapon. We'll see you there. That's your brief. If this episode got you thinking, don't let the conversation stop here. Head over to the Insider Brief on Substack and subscribe. It's where we dig deeper, answer your questions, and preview what's next. And you just might want to hat. We're also on YouTube, where you'll find short clips, interviews, and bonus content. Make sure to subscribe there if you haven't already. And if you want to support the show and look good while doing it, check out our merch. Every shirt and hat helps keep Midweek Sitrep independent and growing. Go to everythingisnationalsecurity.com. Subscribe, share, and stay sharp. I'm Jerry Fowler, and remember, everything is national security. See you next time. Midweek Sitrep with Jerry Fowler is an independent production of OpScent Media Group, LLC. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, financial, or professional advice. Listeners should consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions based upon the content discussed. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host, Jerry Fowler, and any guest, and do not reflect the official policy, position, or endorsement of any current or former employer, client, government agency, military organization, educational institution, or any other entity for which the host, Jerry Fowler, may be affiliated. Mention of a company, product, or service does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation. Any references are provided for informational purposes only. This podcast does not disclose any classified, proprietary, or confidential information. All discussions are based upon publicly available information and personal expertise. Everything's national security. OpScent Media Group, LLC.